$5 million a year SaaS recurring that's literally a marketing platform that does it all. Okay, that's got everything you could need, built mostly by 3 people over the course of a couple of years. I don't know if right now we pause. If you're listening to this and if that doesn't show you possibilities and potential, I tried to build software multiple times. I've actually gotten to the point now where I've quit. I love SaaS, I love software, but what I've told myself is I'll do what I do best, marketing and sales. I'm going to let other people build it. Every time I talk to a very successful software-driven entrepreneur, the story is the same. The original team that developed what they sold was 1 to 3 people. Today, we're going to meet an entrepreneur that's done some amazing things and attacked a market that others would say is impossible or very hard to do, using a really creative strategy. And so if you're listening and if you're a business owner and you're trying to get into a competitive marketplace, I think you can learn a lot from this founder and this entrepreneur today. Now, again, I'm super excited because this is also one of the early episodes of our Anik Singal Show. That's right. You're officially listening to the Anik Singal Show now. And so a little bit of a different format and a little bit of a different conversation. The guest today, his name is Aurelian Amacker, and I know I'm not pronouncing it correctly, and I apologize ahead of time, but I was introduced to him it's been about a year and a half ago, and I was immediately impressed. And I'll tell you what, I was really impressed because he's going after a market that I found personally to be very difficult, but he's doing it brilliantly. And one of the things I've noticed in the market, here's how you know you're doing something right. If your name just keeps popping up. How I've always known if I should really connect with someone or not is if their name just keeps popping up. And Aurelian's name keeps popping up. No matter where I am, at least once every couple of weeks, someone will say, hey, you should meet him, or you should be introduced to him, or he's doing this, or he's doing that. I'm like, all right, this is the person to be around. And I want to share, I want to get into the strategy he's using of how to really overtake a competitive marketplace and do a great job and make a name and become an industry leader in that space. So without further ado, Aurelian, welcome to the Anik Singal Show.
Hi, Anik. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah. It's you were saying, and he said this to me right before we started. He said, hey, as you know, I'm a patient man. We've been planning this podcast now for quite a few months, but you know what? It was destiny because you get to be the first official recording I'm doing as the Anik Singal Show. So maybe that's what we were waiting for. Aurelian, you've done some amazing stuff. You're the founder of System.io, which everyone has spelled system with an E at the end of it, .io. And really, really cool software. When I see it, I think, hey, this is a really neat funnel builder, but I know that there's more to it, and I want you to talk about that. And then this is a competitive marketplace. And so you came out. I want to learn about what were you thinking when you decided to do this? What was going through your head? A lot of people are listening right now. Someone's like, I want to own a pizza restaurant. It's like, oh, there's so many pizza restaurants out there, right? Like, can they still make it? Or they want to do anything that's so competitive. But yeah, man, tell me a little bit about your story. Tell me a little bit about System.io. And then let's put the pieces together of like how you've done what you've done. Feel free to share any numbers you're comfortable with, but I know you guys are growing fast and I want to know how.
Yeah, no, it's going great. I mean, the pizza restaurant story, it's quite funny because I always think to myself, if I was to open a restaurant, I would pick something that people eat like on a regular basis, like every week, like pizza, hamburger, and I would open mine and I would try to create like the best, like maybe not the best food, but like really good food at a great price, and yeah, so that's basically what we did. Like I built several businesses in my life, and I never really had a crazy idea. I always picked a business where some people were already making money, and I just did it. I just did my thing. And you're right; it's a very competitive market, and we're doing great. But you have some differences, like. I think that we're really focused on the product. It's funny because at the beginning, when people hear about us, they're like, oh, it's a cheaper alternative to ClickFunnels. That's the image that we have. But if you listen to our users, to our customers, that's not what they say. They say it's easier to use, it's faster, yet it's very powerful. Customer support is amazing. And I'm not bragging, that's what it is. And they say, oh, and by the way, it's 5 to 10 times cheaper. So, I mean, people are not stupid. If it's good, if it's easier to use, if it's cheaper, it's a no-brainer. And that's what it is. That's why it's working, because yeah, that's what it is.
Got it. So just let's step back for everyone who's watching. System.io is a funnel builder. It's a tool you use to build your funnels, to put up your websites, especially if you're selling information products. And so that's why Aurelian is saying, hey, some people see this and immediately compare it to ClickFunnels, because ClickFunnels is, maybe I would say the largest company that does funnel building. They're obviously created the market, and they have a huge following. And so that's why, for me, Aurelian, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I think I hear about a new funnel builder at least once every 2 weeks. It feels to me like there are so many people that come into the market. Many don't last. Many don't make it. You obviously have. How long ago did you launch System.io?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we launched the product in early 2018. So it's been a little bit over 4 years.
Okay. So by then, a company like ClickFunnels probably already had, 100,000 users or so? I don't remember what they had back then. Do you remember?
So they announced that they reached 100,000 users early 2020.
Okay. So they maybe had 50, 60, 70,000 users. Let's just face it. Let's just say they had a lot. They had a good head start. The what I've heard from you so far is like, hey, listen, focus really, really, really high on the product, make the product way better, and then focus on the economics of the product. Well, I want to talk about the economics, because to me, that sounds like counter advice. You hear a lot of people talk about like, hey, don't compete on price, don't compete on price. But then, obviously this is working for you. Where are you at now with System.io? Like, how many users do you have now? You've been up for 4 years. How's the growth looked?
Yeah, so we have 13,000 paid users.
Wow.
So it's about 400,000 per month in revenue. My goal for next year, 2023, is to grow by 50%. So to get to 20,000 paid users by the end of 2023.
And what was your growth from last year to this year, 21 to 2022? Or even 2020 to 2021?
Yeah, so what happened, we launched in 2018. So initially in the French market, I mean, it was in French and in English, but we didn't have any traction, any audience in the English market. So we started growing in the French market. We started really working in the English market, like I'd say 2019, because it was really like growing in the French market, and I felt that it was time to start investing. But it was so hard. I mean, it was terrible. Like, it took us 3.5 years to go from 1 to 1,000 customers in the English market. When I say English market, I mean English-speaking market. All right. So 3.5 years to go from 1 to 1,000 customers. Like, it was very hard, And then it took us 7 months to go from 1,000 to 2,000 customers in the English market. And then it took us 5 months to get to 2,000 to 3,000. And we're going to get to 4,000 customers just like 3.5 months later. So it's definitely, growing in the English market. In the French market, we're number one. I mean, the growth, we were lucky because of COVID. I mean, we were already doing well. And when COVID hit, it was crazy. It was, plus there was like lockdown. I mean, we all lived this crazy time period, but we grew really fast. But we were growing before and we kept growing after. It's just that, so we took over ClickFunnels in the French market, and now in the English market, we're growing, and we have some translations in other languages as well: Italian, Spanish, German, Dutch, Portuguese.
So to me, it sounds like that was a big part of your strategy as well, right? So it's not just good product or great product and great price. I see that you kind of snuck in there with, you picked a unique market. You niched down your market to kind of propel you, give you that user base, and then you used that momentum to bounce back into the English speaking. Did I summarize that correctly?
No, it's completely true. But it's a tough strategy, because so in theory, if you have a product like some software, you can sell it in any language, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the theory. Then comes a reality that hits you in the face. So, I mean, it's a lot harder than it seems. It takes a crazy amount of time to scale in different markets. But yeah, that's our strategy, and it's working. Just that it's a lot of work.
Yeah. So, it's not just geographically. Because I'm like thinking about people that are watching this. It's the core lesson there was like niched down, right? So built this product and got it niched down. And I've done this, right? So anyone's watching me right now, I niched down specifically to say, you know what? I want to work with information marketers that are already up and running and generating at least 100,000 a year in business. And that was just because of my future kind of where I see myself going. Aurelian is 100% right. It's harder. It's a harder market to reach. It's more hustle. It's got some longevity, some really cool benefits, but like it's not the easiest way. But in your market, if you're dealing with competitiveness, is there a way you can niche down and go after a particular niche, use that to kind of springboard your entry into the market and then go from there? So really, really, it's actually a really inspiring story. I mean, to do that in this market. Now, when you say you're at a great price, what is your price comparatively? Because I heard you say 5 to 10 times cheaper, and that got my attention. Like, how much cheaper do you have to be for a price to become a competitive advantage?
Sure. So first, we're not only a funnel builder, it's all-in-one marketing platform. So it's not only, and from the beginning, the idea wasn't to have only, sales funnels. So we have sales funnels, email marketing. You can create your own course. You can manage your affiliate program. You can set up automations. You can also sell physical products. It's really an all-in-one marketing platform. So yeah, it's the first thing. And the price, it's very simple. We have a free plan that allows you to manage up to 2,000 contacts. And then the plans are $27 per month, $47 per month, and $97 per month. And so we have a free plan, and that's great, but then we have an unlimited plan for $97 per month. So, if you have an email list of like 30,000 people, you're spending, I don't know, $500 on active campaign per month, $300 for ClickFunnels. You can, move to our platform and you will pay $97 per month. Like you don't pay more when you have more contacts.
So it's a double whammy. I mean, what you're doing is for the end customer. So again, someone who's trying to enter a competitive marketplace, he didn't just go out and eliminate or replace one software, one service. It's multiple. So allowing everyone to kind of fold into one place makes their life easier, makes their bills cheaper. And so that's where you get to the 5 to 10 times cheaper. That's where I was like, how did that number come about? So here's a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, kind of, yeah, true. But like just with two software, two pieces of software, yeah, it's definitely 5 to 10 times cheaper. But I mean, there is something I like to say, Anik, because, when you tell people, oh, we have a software that does like not everything, but like all the main features, sales funnels, email marketing, the first reaction is to think, oh, okay, but that's not a good idea. Like there is no way you can be good at everything. Yeah. And in theory, that's true. But we did it, because my idea was like, oh, what if you had, because I started selling online courses in 2010. And believe me, it was a struggle at that time. I was using some weird HTML pages that a developer friend and marketer was making with some courses hosted on WordPress, integrating with some old-fashioned French payment processor. I mean, it was pretty hard, And over the years, I wasn't really happy with the existing tools. I tried ClickFunnels when they launched, and there were some things that you couldn't translate. I was a customer of Ontraport for like 3 months. I was paying $300 per month, and I couldn't even use it. I mean, it was ridiculous because it wouldn't work with my PayPal account or whatever. I mean, it was ridiculous. Paying $300 per month, and you cannot do anything. And the software was very heavy, hard to use. So, I mean, I wasn't happy with the existing tools. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try to create my own tool. And today, that's what we use to power our entire business. You go to our website, it's a sales funnel. The email list, we have we have hundreds of thousands of people on our contact list. It's our own servers. So we manage our entire business. We do almost $500,000 in revenue per month. And we use just a System.io account. It's just that we have some specific features, like we can sell, obviously, some System.io plans. But I really want to emphasize the fact that, no, it's not true that a tool that does several things cannot be good. It's the contrary, actually. It's trying to link different tools. It's a nightmare. I did for years. I was a customer with Aweber for 7 years. I was using Aweber for my pages, sometimes lead pages, sometimes some WordPress plugin. It's really, there is no way you're going to have a good user experience when you're trying to stitch together different tools. No way.
Yeah. So there's opportunity in doing the opposite of what people say, which is there's opportunity in actually building a solution that's more inclusive and offers more in one for your target market. And so what's been really interesting to watch, right, is that you've actually applied all of this and had the success. Because a lot of people will come out, like I said, so many people say, hey, don't compete on price. And so you get a chance to look at them and just say, cool story, bro. Like, good for you that you say that. I'm doing great at it. A lot of people will also say, hey, don't do so many things. Do one thing really well. And you're saying, well, but that's the real competitive advantage, because the other thing is, right, when someone's using System.io and they're doing everything with it, where are they going to go? I mean, eventually that's a very sticky reason to be there. So I have so many questions that are flying through my mind, man, about how you market this and how you positioned yourself in the competitive space. I know you came in from the French marketplace, but then how'd you market? How'd you enter the US market or the English speaking market? I want to come to all of that. Before we do that, I'm a little curious to learn your backstory. So tell me a little bit about what led you to founding System.io, because I would love to learn a little bit about what you've done before and how come you had this idea. What was missing in the marketplace? Actually, did you create System.io because you found something missing that you wanted to address? Or did you just see an opportunity to do it better or cheaper and you thought, okay, I can take it? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, like I said, I had been selling online courses in the French market since 2010. So courses about how to make money online. I started with the blog. I was making money out of my blog and I started selling courses about how to make money online and, that kind of stuff. I was doing some product launches, Jeff Walker style. I was in his mastermind group and it wasn't working for me. I never embraced the launch model. It works great for others, it's great, but I never really liked it. So I just left the group and went on my own. And through the, I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and almost every time I could discover some entrepreneur that was making at least 50,000 dollars per month in revenue with some SaaS, like some software. And I was like, oh, that's a great business, it's recurring and stuff. So I decided in 2015 to build my own tool. And like you said, so many people tried, I know so many people who tried and failed. So building software is really hard. I failed the first year. I had a company in Morocco doing the development. And these guys, I think they had no idea that they had no idea. So they were really dangerous people, So
I'm going to use that. They had no idea that they have no idea. I like that.
It's true. It's ridiculous, the Scrum methodology, right? Scrum, have you heard about it? It's like it's the methodology that, all the startups use, all the software companies. And it was going so bad that me and my wife, we flew to Morocco to meet them in person. And they were so good at telling me, oh, it's going to be fine, but so bad at actually delivering pretty much anything. And during that meeting, I was like, yeah, I read online that there is that Scrum methodology, maybe we should use this. And they were like, Scrum? Oh, can you look that up, It's like, So yeah, I fired them after a year, and I was desperate. Tried different freelancers, and then I found a guy, and I saw that I could rely on this guy. So then we hired two similar guys, and we built the software during 2017. Over this year, I moved my info business to our own software, and then we launched in 2017. And since I had a list of about 25,000 people at that time, I was able to do a launch on my list. After that, we had 400 paying customers. But then we kept growing all the time, you know.
Wow, it's amazing. You answered one of the questions. I was going to ask you, hey, how'd you get this thing developed? So was it just one coder? Because you said you had found one guy that you could really rely on. Was it just one guy over the course of a year?
Yeah, no. So no, that was a guy, and it was crazy because I could see the difference because I had a bunch of them, and I could see that they were actually scared of this guy. You know, they were like, "Oh, but you know, the deployment process, and whatever." And I was like, "Look, I have that guy. He tells me it's going to be done in 2 hours. 2 hours later, it's done." So at the end of the day, you know, when you hire people, you have people who find problems and people who find solutions. If you want to make some progress, you need to find people who find solutions. Okay. So I found this guy, and I got him to work with me. And I was like, "Hey, do you know someone like you?" And he was like, "Yeah, I work with this guy. I know he's really good." I was like, "Okay, let's get him on board." And then we struggled a bit to get the third developer because it was a different technology, you know, to do the drag and drop editor. But after like 3 months, we found one. And with these three guys, we built the entire product. And actually, it's funny because we had those three developers for a long time. Like, I think we hired another developer only in maybe 2020.
Wow.
And today we have only like 8 or 9.
So a 5 million a year SaaS recurring, that's literally a marketing platform that does it all. Okay. That's got everything you could need, built mostly by 3 people over the course of a couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if right now we pause. If you're listening to this, and if that doesn't show you possibilities and potential, I tried to build software multiple times. I've actually gotten to the point now where I've quit. I love SaaS, I love software, but what I've told myself is I'll do what I do best, marketing and sales. I'm going to let other people build it. Every time I talk to a very successful software-driven entrepreneur, the story is the same. The original team that developed what they sold was 1 to 3 people. It's almost never more. I mean, I talked to the founder of Jasper, and when I had interviewed him 6 months ago, it was one person. It was their current CTO, is one guy over the course of a few months who just kept perfecting and building it. They literally built a tool worth $1 billion now. There's one person.
Yeah, absolutely.
So amazing. So what about you though? So you were selling information products, and then you felt the need, and you said, okay, I can develop this. You were desiring a SaaS. So you said something else really interesting earlier, which I think a lot of people could take a lot of inspiration from. You said, hey, I've had a lot of businesses, and never have I really been that creative. I've never really, been the guy. That's me, man. I always say, like, this beautiful iPhone in my hands, I'm never going to be the guy that creates something like this. Like, I'm just not that creative. I'm not that innovative. And I feel like there's a lot of people in this world who want to be an entrepreneur, who start, and they think they have to have that killer idea where they literally could just have a pizza shop. Like, why not? Talk to that. How has that served you or not served you? Just talk a little bit more about that, where you said you're not that creative.
It's exactly like I said at the beginning when you mentioned the pizza shop, because I grew up in a let's say a tough suburb north of Paris, and we didn't have a lot of money. My mom raised me as a single mother. So yeah, we didn't have a lot of money, and I've always been really interested in business. I always thought that it was, amazing to be able to build something. And I don't know, I'm very curious. And I've traveled a lot. I've lived in Australia, in Colombia. My wife is Colombian. Now I live in Portugal. And I'm very curious, when I go to a restaurant or whatever, I'm going to be, just paying attention to, the business and stuff. And I always thought that you think that you, you should have an amazing idea to get a business started. But if you want to open a successful restaurant, you're not going to create a new cuisine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but chances are you're gonna fail. So it's better to pick something that people like I said, it's burger, pizza, stuff like that, and then you try to create the best. If you see that there is already an amazing restaurant that's doing amazing food at a great price, maybe it's not the best idea to try to compete with them. But most of the time, you don't have such a restaurant. Maybe in the US, the offer is so developed that it's hard. But in most places, like in Lisbon, there is a really good burger place where I go, but it's really expensive, and I'm thinking, yeah, you could do something good, like 80% as good for, like 40% of the price, like 50% of the price. And I spoke to some restaurant entrepreneurs and they were like, but it's expensive, the food and stuff. I'm like, guys, there is a guy who opened a restaurant in Paris, a burger restaurant. The name is literally Eat and Beat It, because you can, for real, it's manger et cassez-vous. It means eat and beat it, because the burger is like €2.50. There is a line all the time. And I'm like, Paris is a very expensive city. If this guy can sell a burger for less than €3 in Paris, you can then sell a burger for, €4 in Lisbon. No worries.
Oh man. Yeah, we keep talking about pizza. It's making me want pizza now. But one of my very good friends, so shout out to Naz and Manoj, they own a pizza place right here in Bethesda, Maryland. So it's Bethesda's a city. It's a pretty busy city. It's got all the, I can't even begin to tell you how many pizza places are there or how many restaurants are there. There's a lot. And they opened a pizza place, but their specialty is they make fusion pizza. So she will take lots of dishes, like a Thai dish, and puts it on a pizza. And it tastes amazing. It actually tastes like that dish, but it's in pizza. And it's really good. And they are probably one of the most profitable pizza chains I know of. Because they're constantly booked, because they do something unique. They took a product people love, pizza. They took another product that people love, which might be some type of Thai cuisine or an Indian cuisine, and they merged them into one and created a pizza. You'll never see that. Go ahead.
I think you have to be, as an entrepreneur, you have to be passionate about the product. Yeah. That's what's killing me. I see all the time, I mean, you want to talk about the competitive space? Look, take any competitive app. I'm not sure if the owner is passionate by the product as I am. I don't think he spends a lot of time using it. I don't think he spends a lot of time hearing feedback from the users. We have some Facebook groups. We have 75,000 people in the French group. We have 32,000 people in the English Facebook group. And I'm in these groups every day. People know it, they can reach out to me. So, like Russell Brunson, I don't think he's on Facebook, reading, he's, I don't know, traveling in jet or whatever, buying companies, whatever, but I don't think he's focused on the products. And it's very simple. Like, I want to focus on the product. I want to make a great product. I want to make a great offer. I want to build a great company. And that's what it takes,
Yeah, I'm hearing that a lot from you, and I feel like that comes out of Silicon Valley. I hear that a lot. I have a really dear friend of mine who's obsessed with this product, and he's obsessed to the point where he's the CEO, he's the founder, and you can message him at 3 a.m. and he'll respond. He'll get up and go take care of it. It's down, it's out, something's wrong. He'll take care of it. So what drives that passion, though? I mean, here's where I find a little bit hard to believe. Is it the passion? Is it the exit? Is that what you're passionate about? But like, it's hard to say that. It's hard to imagine someone gets up and is passionate about a funnel, right? Or maybe you are. I have no idea. I mean, I'm passionate about silly things too, but like, define the passion. Are you passionate really about the product, about the funnel, about how it's helping people? Are you passionate about maybe what you could build too, about having 100,000 users and selling for $1 billion? Where's that passion? Like, define that for me.
Yeah, it's the passion in, I ask myself a lot of questions all the time, because to me, it's like I'm living a dream alive, and you have entrepreneurs having a lot more success than me. But to me, it's crazy. It's like winning the World Cup almost every week. So I can tell you that in the morning, I wake up, I just want to, get a cup of coffee and get on my computer, listen to music and start working. And I just love it. So of course, making money is great, but we chatted a little bit before this call, and you're a very successful entrepreneur, and after some while, you realize that more money is not going to be equal to more happiness, of course.
So I want to dig deeper into this, because you brought me into it, and I think it's a great thing to talk about. I've been dealing with this big time this last year, a couple of years, maybe a few years, and I can speak very passionately about passion. Have you, before System.io, did you have a business that you were doing where you were making money and you weren't passionate about it?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I guess I was passionate about, selling info products. So I was selling courses about digital marketing. And also I had a small blog about how to learn English that was like making money and stuff. And I guess I was passionate about the business, but I was suffering because it wasn't as successful as I wanted. So I was buddy with the top marketers, but I wasn't as good as them, and that's what drove me to leave the Jeff Walker's mastermind group and go down my own path. So I think I was passionate, but I was suffering because I couldn't feel that I was financially, I was doing okay, but I couldn't feel that I was like doing well enough. I was like, I can do better than that.
Yeah. So, to me, it sounds like what you're saying is, hey, everyone, it's okay. You have permission to allow money to be a part of your passion, right? Because I think we're getting to a point now in society where it's almost wrong to be like, I'm doing this because I want to be really rich. And it's people are like, oh my God, you're so superficial. And I'm like, well, it's okay. It sucks if that's the only reason you're doing it. But you kind of alluded to it, but I guess you wake up more excited today than you used to 5-6 years ago when you were selling information products. Correct assumption?
Yeah, absolutely. No, honestly, it's making money is great. Making more money is great. But it's not only about this. It's really about just, I don't know, like winning, I would say, I don't have any exit plan. People tell me, oh,
I was going to ask you that. What's your exit plan?
I have a friend, it's crazy. Like my best friend, he was like, I was like, yeah, I think this thing, could be worth 100 million, in a couple of years. And he was like, dude, and I was like, but I don't want to sell, I just enjoy doing what I do. And, why would I sell? Like I would take 100 million and then what? I would buy like stocks and I would make 5% per year. It sucks. I know I could keep doing and do like maybe compound at, 30% year over year. And it was like, dude, if you ever get an offer for 100 million,
you take it. Yeah. No, and again, see, that's the product obsession. And I want to talk more about that because it's a common trend. You listen to Steve Jobs' story, you look at Elon Musk's story. People always talk about Elon Musk sleeps at the office. He literally will sleep at the Tesla factory. Well, what do you think he's doing? You think he's sleeping there because he's having, board meetings? Like, not really. He's sleeping there because that's the time he's testing the product, playing with the product, reading the emails about it, fine-tuning and obsessing about it. Steve Jobs was known for a fact to use the iPhone like crazy, and like the smallest little pixelation would drive him insane, and he would obsess over it and want it fixed. I will be honest, and this is it's my honesty, to everybody. It's my commitment, right? As we're doing this, to do this new podcast, it's always been my commitment to be very transparent. I don't think I've been obsessive enough about the product in the last 20 years of my life. I've been great at making good products. I've been good at making great products, but I've never been obsessive about my product. I've been obsessive about my marketing, about my copy, about my conversions, but I feel like I don't have a single product that I can think back to that I every week said, how do we make it better? How do we make it better? Until now. I'm seeing myself do it now. And here's what I want to tell everybody. So I have a product, okay? It's a mastermind that I started. And we're, a month and a half into it? I mean, I haven't even had a chance to start half the things. The features of it are still getting floated. But we're doing some things. And I'm very obsessive about it. It's the first thing I check when I wake up. It's my members. If you're in that mastermind, you're like, you have like a total VIP access. I want to like hold you on a flower, like a bed of flowers. And, you know, I'm like my members are getting VIP treatment. I was at an event recently and I had I mean, there was probably 10 people from my mastermind at the event. This is about a 180 person event. So it's not like a huge amount of people. I'm getting pulled aside by people and they're like, hey, I want to talk to you about your mastermind. And I'm like, how do you even know about it? Like, we're not publicly talking about this thing. And he's like, well, I've heard like 5 people here just obsess about it. What is it? What are you doing? And it wasn't just 1 time or 2 times or 3 times. This happened enough for me to be like, wait a minute, you know? And I think that's a really good takeaway here. Do you obsess about your product? If you're watching this, like, do you every week? So let's talk about that. Aurelian, do you have any kind of like systems in place? Do you guys have like a weekly or like every month you roll out new features, or a way that you're capturing all this information to obsess and make the product better and better and better? What are the systems you use?
Yeah, so first I'd like to mention that I'm not like crazy. I don't think I'm, crazy obsessive regarding the product, like, Steve Jobs or stuff like that. I mean, because I'm pragmatic, it's very hard to do software. So good enough is good enough, So I want to improve the product. We're always adding more features. I want to, but I mean, it's not, of course it's not perfect. We're working to make it better, but I mean, we have this commitment to make it better. And, there was like the ClickFunnels to launch, like they had this event, Funnel Hacker Live, when they, I mean, I think they made a huge mistake, so because they promised that they would write the entire platform again with some new features, and of course it got delayed because you don't want to do this. It's a terrible idea. But then like 1 year later, they were ready to launch and they had this event and the display that timeline, and it was like, okay, so look, these are the features that we've built so far. So it's the same features that were before, pretty much. And these are the features we're going to add. And these are the features that we promised you 1 year ago. So, and there was a guy on Facebook, a marketer in the US, and he was like, he trashed them. And he was like, that's why I prefer a company like System, because they're always adding some, some features. And we do it quietly. Like we literally post a group in our Facebook group. So, it's a commitment to improve the product all the time. And we make some mistakes. It's not perfect, but we're very transparent. And again, like if you want to talk about competitiveness, I don't think you see like the other companies doing this. The founder or the top executives are not going to be hanging around, the Facebook groups. They're not going to be replying themselves. They're not going to be adding more features all the time or really, I'm in this all the time. And again, I'm not crazy obsessive about the product. I want the product to be better, but I'm kind of obsessive about creating a great company. So it's not only the product, it's also the customer support. We have amazing customer support. We reply on average under 2 hours, 7 days a week. So it's very important for me and people love it. And that's something that always, in the reviews, in the testimonials, people always comment about the customer support. And it's about creating a great company. So we're 100% remote company. We have people in many different countries. It's really exciting because that's something that wasn't possible like when I was a kid. I could imagine, one day I will have a big company and I will be like stuck at the office from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And today you have Slack. And today I went to the mall with my wife, because we had some errands to run. We had lunch in a restaurant, and I could check my messages and just keep the things going. So we're living an amazing time.
So, one of the key takeaways here is what you said is, as the founder, as the CEO, stay connected, be in the groups, let the customers talk to you. Don't be afraid of them. Don't run from them. And I can tell you point blank that in my career, I've gotten to a place where I did get to the point where I did not want to talk to the customers. I was afraid of the customers. And that was where the passion, that's where I realized I saw it. And I'm like, my passion isn't there. And it has nothing to do with a dislike over the customers or anything like that. I love them all. It's just that as an entrepreneur, I've done the same thing for 20 years and I want to talk about different things and do different things. But I started to feel distant, and then you start to hire all these people that are like layers between you and the customer, and you get to a place where you're not hearing their messages are so buffered that you're hearing what you want to hear and you're not hearing what they really want. Now, in what we're doing today and how we're transitioning, oh my God. I mean, I will tell you right now, this would stress some people out, but here, I'll pull up my Facebook, and all of these are just chats that are currently open that I need that people sent to me. It's a lot, but they're amazing. Like, these are people I want to talk to. I had someone over yesterday. We're doing a consult. It's one of my customers. He's over. And at the end of the consult, when I was like, hey, are we done? Did you get everything you needed? He said, yes. I said, okay, great. We have 10 minutes. I'd like to ask you a question. How can we be better? And he looked at me first and he was like, well, you guys are already great. This is great. And I said, no, we could always be better. How could we be better? And he started to give some insight. He started to give some feedback. And man, one of this feedback was amazing. Super easy to implement. And I took that and I was like, let me go ask a few other members. How would they feel about this? And I did. And they thought, wow, that would be awesome. I'm like, really? I would never think that would be something that you would want. And they're like, no, we'd love this. I'm like, I can have this implemented by like the next couple of days. This is some pursuit. So like a little tweak, right? One more now improvement upon the product, which I would have never had that idea if I didn't genuinely ask the customer, hey, how can we be better? And I asked it genuinely, meaning to, I wanted to listen. So yeah, go ahead.
No, you have to listen to the customer. It's great. That's all you have to do. But many people don't do it,
So, but that's something, again, right? We're taking away. If you're trying to enter into a competitive marketplace, one of the things that you can use to your advantage is that your competition, the juggernauts, right? The big guys in the space have gotten so big that they probably have all these hierarchies and these layers and all of that. And so one of the competitive advantages that you have if you're trying to get into a competitive space is the nimbleness, where you can absolutely move faster, you could talk to the customers, and you should utilize that to your advantage. So again, get in front of your customers, talk to them, but listen and actually make those changes. I want to switch a little bit here, and I want to talk about one of your strategies. This is for personal curiosity. I remember, this is years ago, okay? Maybe, 5, 6 years ago, way before I heard about System.io. I was talking to a friend of mine, and we were talking about different SaaSes and different tools. And, my audience at that time was an audience that something like a funnel builder would probably be very easy to sell to. That's the kind of stuff they're looking for, they want. And so someone asked me, Anik, why don't you develop this? And I chuckled and I laughed and I said, nah, not my market, not my thing. I'm building something different. I want to focus on that. But I said, if I ever did, I feel like the easiest way to win the market over very quickly would be to make mine free, to have a plan that is free. And actually, I even filmed an episode recently on the podcast called The King of Free. I have found, and if I go back and I look at my life when I started 21 years ago to today, I have found that I use the power of free a lot, especially when I'm entering into new markets. I trust myself. I know that if I can get them in the door, I will absolutely get them to pay. I'm curious because when I saw System.io come out, and I remember I went to the site and I thought, son of a gun, that's what he's doing. He's got a freemium plan. Talk to me about that strategy, right? This may not be applicable to everybody in every kind of business, but the freemium strategy, was it helpful? Was it a big part of your growth? How many of those people actually become paid users? Or has it really not been that big of a deal?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's funny because I always liked the idea of the freemium model. I don't really know why. I know when we started, making money online, like in 2010 with some buddies, like it was either you would go with Aweber or MailChimp. And Aweber was it was really like for marketers. That's how we felt, Was it true? I don't know. But, many marketers were using it. So for us, it was a good choice. But the thing was that MailChimp was free up to 2,000 contacts. And I mean, I went with Aweber and it was fine, but some people did go with MailChimp, a minority actually, I'd say, in that niche. But I always loved the idea of free. I thought it was very appealing. But so it's funny, when I started building the thing, I remember talking with my developer and I was like, yeah, we're going to build it and we're going to make it for free. So exactly what you said. And I remember at that time I spoke with a marketer and I was like, yeah, so, we're going to build this and it's going to be free. And she looked at me and she was like, okay, but how am I going to make money? And I was like, oh, I was like, okay, maybe, it's not going to work. So yeah, we launched it with the 14-day free trial, which is the most common option. But I kept the idea of the freemium model. So we worked on this with one guy on my team for 6 months, studying the thing, thinking about, the different plans and stuff. And we launched it in April of last year. So it's not been that much.
Oh, okay. So this wasn't a big part of your initial growth. This is recent that you launched it.
Yeah, exactly.
And how has it helped a lot? Has it done anything, or are you like, could have done without it?
No. I like it. I think it's a strength, So, we all about being very competitive on price, as you can guess. And having a free plan is kind of a way to lower your price, because some people who...
I mean, it's the lowest price.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it has limited features, of course, but it's kind of a way to lower your price. So for us, I think it makes sense. Personally, I love it. I think it works great. Works for us. Might not work for everyone. Again, it's funny. It's really a question of, it's like the pricing strategies. It's an art and it's a science, but it's a science in theory, but practically speaking, there is a little bit of magic, but you have to go with the option with which you feel comfortable,
Yeah. No, absolutely. Do you have any data on how many people who do the freemium actually upgrade and end up paying? Have you ever run that data?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny because so when we had a 14-day free trial, we were converting 11% of the free trials into paid customers. So within 2 weeks, of course. I mean, maybe not. Yeah, I mean, on average, but yeah, some people would take longer, but yeah. And with the free plan, we divided our conversion rate by 2. So it's 5.5%.
But I mean, that's pretty good, because I bet it really increased your conversion on the front end, right? Like maybe a lot more people take it up.
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of A/B tests on our homepage. It's really exciting, because like, did you remember that book by Russell Brunson, like 108 Split Test?
Yeah, long back. Yeah, have it. It's a good book. Yeah, great book. Yeah.
And I read it and I was like, oh, but look, wait, this test, you have like 25 conversions and 42 conversions, right? If you get back at it and you read, you will see that in many examples, you don't have enough conversions to have some statistically. Yeah, exactly. So we started because when you discover digital marketing, you're like, oh, it's really exciting. I'm going to start running some split tests and stuff, and, you run a split test and you get 50 conversions and 70, and you're like, yeah, it converts 32% more, I'm a baller. But so with my team, we run some split tests, and it's really exciting because we have to wait till we get 10,000 conversions on each variant to get to a conclusive result, so it's really exciting. We're improving the conversion rate. So, I mean, it's not only the offer, it's also the work that we do on the homepage. So yeah, you're supposed to get more people, but like I said before, with the 14-day free trial, we were already growing. Because remember, people think it's just a cheaper alternative, but if you look at the reviews, I mean, you go to, do you know Capterra? It's a like review website.
No.
It's capterra.com. Actually, it's weird. I think it's South African, but it's pretty popular. And like ClickFunnels have, I mentioned ClickFunnels because you mentioned them, and it's one of the biggest in the space. But they have like 480 reviews with an average rating of 4.6, and we have like 530 reviews with an average rating of 4.8. So I mean, and you look at the reviews, it's mind-blowing. Honestly, the users, and I'm not saying it's perfect, it is not, and it will never be, but people love it. They say, oh, it's great, it's amazing, it does a lot of things, it's fast, it's reliable, it works great, amazing customer support. So, I mean, that's the reason why we're growing, because, I mean, most of the people many people don't know about us, but if they knew about us, they would choose us over the competition. So do you imagine? It's crazy. And that's why I'm a bit mad with the influencers, because we have a really hard time get them to talk about us. And it's taken years, to get some traction in the English market.
Yeah. Well, I think the common theme I've really heard from you, Aurelian, that is inspiring is not just did you say, hey, we keep making the product better, but I noticed how you said, hey, we keep making the conversion better. I think what you do, the theme of your entire messaging of how you build companies is keep making things better. Instead of doing more things, a lot of entrepreneurs, we do more, right? We have more companies, more products, more this. And most of the very successful, you'll hear them say, hey, do less, but do it really well. And right? So you are a marketing platform, and you are going to do everything better. You're going to do the conversion better. You're going to do the customer support better. You're going to do the product better. You're going to keep making those refinements. And that's what's leading to a lot of your success. You mentioned influencers. So I want to pivot and talk a little bit about, in a competitive landscape, how are you marketing yourself? Because you've had pretty decent growth, man. I mean, 13,000 paid users now is great. I know that it's been latent. And like you said, you've been struggling to get into some of the markets. But how, like today, how many new users do you attract per day, and where's your marketing coming from? Is it just pure word of mouth? Are you doing paid advertising? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so it's funny because we've started recently running paid ads. We're not good at running ads. That's not our thing. So we really relied on our affiliate program. So we were paying 40% affiliate commissions, like lifetime affiliate commissions. And we moved to actually 50% affiliate commissions a few months ago. So we really relied on our affiliates. And when I mean affiliates, because when we launched in the French market, I mean, you're gonna find it funny, because I was a marketer and maybe I wasn't, like the best one or whatever. I mean, almost no marketer promoted us. We went from 0 to number 1 in a couple of years, when like no marketer promoted us. Like they kept promoting ClickFunnels, or like there is another French alternative. And it's crazy. And I was telling people all the time, look, we went from 0 to number 1 in the market when like almost no influencer promoted us ever. It's crazy. It's just because we built an army of affiliates. So our users, our customers, people who, affiliates, people who believe in our product, they will promote us. And I think it's a great way to like build a company. But it takes a lot of time. It's really like adding more and more affiliates promoting you. And it takes a lot of time. Yeah.
So go after the long tail affiliates, right? So it's like, instead of going for the A+ players who are going to drive the big numbers, but they're hard to get a hold of, they're picky, they're needy, they're demands, and they have existing relationships. You're saying, hey, again, don't go for those guys. Go for the rest of them who no one's talking to, and you show up and you're talking to them, and they have direct access to you. So build, you said, an army instead of a few very select powerful influencers. Build an army of micro influencers who are going to drive you a few users here and there, but they're going to love you because you're accessible.
So like exactly what you said, it's the long tail of affiliates, that the exact expression that I use. But it's not that these are not people that we get in touch with. I mean, I've spent a lot of time doing outreach, and it's really, really hard, like almost impossible. So it's more people who naturally land in our ecosystem, either as a user, as a customer, or find out about our affiliate program and decide by themselves to start promoting us. I mean, we're still reaching out to people. I have a couple of people working on this, and it's crazy because have you heard the story about how ConvertKit grew like crazy, like in 2015 to 2018?
I want to say yes, but I can't. No, go ahead and say it again, because I vaguely I remember it.
No, they grew like crazy. And I was listening to interviews of the founder, and it was really interesting. I was like, oh, someday I will do the same. I will build this team of people reaching out to influencers and running some webinars. And I even hired the guy who was doing this job for them, and it was horrible. I mean, you contact people and it's like, organic traffic, paid traffic, organic traffic. You have people who took the initiative to do something, do some research. They have some interest. Paid traffic, you're stopping people, they're doing something else. So when you're reaching out to people and you're like, hey, we have a SaaS, like they don't care. So it's we've been doing it for a while. We kind of stopping doing it because it's really not yielding much results. I mean, we run a summit that was successful, but it's really tough. It's not the best way to grow a company, I think, to try to change the mind of people who haven't asked you anything.
So 13,000 users, what percentage do you feel of them came from affiliates? Is it like a majority of them came from your affiliates?
Yeah, it's like, I'd say, I don't know, like 2/3.
That's amazing. So again, everybody, look, if you go back and listen to this episode again and you pick apart, I seriously feel that Aurelian has given us a blueprint to going after a competitive marketplace with a new product. You've got all these nuggets, right? You've got focus on the product. You've got, you can compete on price. You've got the possibility of giving someone a freemium. You've got the idea of combining tools and combining things so that people can then focus on one. That's a great way to actually add to the competing on the price. And one of the biggest questions I wanted to, and focusing on the customer and the team, like making sure that founder has access, or they have access to the founder, and really taking their input. And the last but not least was my question I wanted to ask was marketing. How it's hard to outbid them onto ads. It's hard to do all that. And what Aurelian just said is, hey, we didn't do anything fancy. We don't know how to do paid ads. We don't have the big influencers. We don't have the big affiliates. We're doing it the grassroots way. It's taking time, but here we are making leaps and bounds. And he's built a business doing almost $5 million a year recurring that's growing at a ridiculous rate. So, and he's doing it through the power of the long tail affiliate. These are people that are finding him and promoting him, and he's not expecting any one of them to break the bank and do crazy things, but just build his words, build an army of them. So there's really no reason that you can't, if you're thinking about a business right now and you feel like it's in a really competitive landscape. I think what Aurelian told us was this: focus on the passion. Do you have the passion for it? Do you have the passion for the product? Because if you're going to go into a super competitive space, you're going to compete. All right. And to compete, to outlast, it's going to take time. You're going to have to still be there. Aurelian's been here now 4 years with the actual product launched, and then 2 years before that developing it, right? So his story with it is 6 years in, and it still probably has another many years to go before he's, matching the numbers of his competitors in some ways. But he's passionate about it, and he loves it. Aurelian, this has been a truly inspiring podcast. Everyone, I would love for you to go and check out what he's got. It is really neat. It's cool. It's systeme.io, system.io. It's the last E is not pronounced, so it's systeme.io. Go check it out. Go sign up. There's a free version, if nothing else, and play with the tool. Aurelian, I want to leave you with a final word, and then I want to come back and kind of summarize a couple things for people. But yeah, anything you'd like to say to our listeners?
Yeah, I'm very impressed with your capacity to listen and summarize, and really, I can tell you're, a very skilled entrepreneur. So I really recommend people to keep listening to your podcast, because this is This is good stuff. I'm really curious to listen to the next episode since it's your new podcast.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Aurelian. And thanks and congrats, by the way, on all the amazing things that you guys are doing. I really love seeing the growth. It's been truly inspiring. And everybody, as Aurelian said, if you want to keep listening to our episods, you can still listen to the old episodes, which are the Fighting Entrepreneur. It'll be always around. Go to anikpodcast.com to binge listen. If you're on YouTube, smash the subscribe button, leave a comment below. And if you're on any of the audio platforms, we need it. Come on, right now, as we're getting this new podcast out to the world, subscribe, leave us a great review. And with that said, listen, the whole summary of today is you can launch a product in any marketplace. It doesn't matter. What really matters is your passion for it, your commitment to the product, and a creative way to enter the market. And you can still do it. With that said, everyone, this is Anik reminding you when life pushes you, stand straight, smile, and push it the heck back. See you, everyone. Love you guys. Bye.